Good morning, guys. It's the Merekat. I just woke up and decided that I wanted to make pancakes, and I thought this was a great chance to show you guys my buckwheat pancakes. Now, I'm only doing a half of a recipe from the original, but you can totally double this, and it'll give you 4 servings. Because I'm one person, I don't want 4 servings, so I only make half of the recipe, and that actually lasts me for 3 servings. The list of ingredients is in the description below. Now, like all my other recipes, this is completely gluten-free, and they're extremely yummy, and they're easy to put together before coffee, which is also amazing. So for this recipe, you're going to need some buckwheat flour, some regular gluten-free flour. Now, this is Bob's brand flour, or rather a knockoff of Bob's brand flour. You can also use just regular flour here. Some milk, or in my case, some instant milk powder. 1 egg. Some cinnamon. Some baking soda, some vanilla extract, some salt, and some maple syrup. Now, whenever I start cooking, I like to start by cracking the egg, just in case anything goes wrong. That way I can fish out the little shelly bits. 1 cup of milk, or in my case, the milk powder. Now, you can go ahead and use any kind of milk substitute. The original recipe I'm taking this from is actually a milk-free recipe. So they actually use, I believe, soy milk, but you could probably use almond milk or any of the other milks as well. So if you're using any dried milk products, I've seen that pretty much across the board it's going to be 4 tablespoons per cup of water. It might seem like a lot, but don't forget those 4 tablespoons are going to be turning into a cup. Now, a tablespoon of maple syrup. Now, I'm doing this pre-coffee, so everything's very ish-like. So feel free when you're doing it, if you put a little bit less or a little bit more, just, yeah, it's all good. Get all that yumminess out. 1/4 teaspoon vanilla extract. Now, the recipe notes that you can actually use any type of extract. It doesn't have to be vanilla extract. But there we go. And now I'm going to give it a little whiskey. Yeah. Oh, the dangers of cooking before any coffee. Just going to wipe that up. Now that all our wet ingredients are together, we can go ahead and add our dry. So I'm going to start with 3/4 cup of buckwheat flour. A 1/4 cup of gluten-free flour substitute. One teaspoon of baking soda. half a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to use a little bit over a quarter because I really don't like salt in my food that much. And 1/8 of a teaspoon of cinnamon. Now I'm also going to use about a rounded quarter teaspoon because I really like cinnamon. And the cinnamon you can totally leave out or add whatever other flavoring you'd like. Now that all the ingredients are together, give it a mix very gently. I should have used a bigger bowl for this. And you want to mix this until it gets to a bit of a runny cake mixture. I know that sounds really weird to say, but you'll see what I mean in a second here. So this is about the texture that you want it to be. So everything's nicely incorporated, but it's runny, but it looks really kind of thick. Now buckwheat is kind of notorious as a very dry grain, so we actually have to leave this sit for about 15 minutes, which is excellent because I'm gonna go make some coffee. So it's been about 15 minutes, and the batter has thickened up quite substantially. It's more of a full cake batter now. Quite thick, and again, that's because the buckwheat has actually absorbed a lot of the liquid in the solution. Now in this setup, of course, I have a spatula, very useful for flipping over the pancakes. A 1/4 of a cup measuring cup. Now I like to use either a 1/4 of a cup or a 1/3 of a cup for transferring the batter into the pan, because anything more than that and it can get a bit unwieldy and then you end up with one massive pancake of doom. My griddle with a bit of canola oil heating. So I have this on medium heat right now. You're going to have to raise and lower the temperature as needed because once the pan gets hot, it gets almost too hot. And then when you turn it down, it may go down the other way. So you're going to want to take a 1/4 cup of batter and put it into the hot pan. Now the second it hits, you should hear that nice sizzle. Just like that. Now I tend to get about 2 or 3 pancakes per pan using the 1/4 cup. Now how you're going to know that they're ready to turn over is for 2 reasons. First, you're going to see the bubbles like you see here. When the top surface is full of bubbles, that means that the pancake is ready to turn. The other way is that it almost looks dry on the sides of the pancake. As that dry line raises, that means that the bottom of the pancake is cooking. So when that gets to about halfway, a little bit over, you're going to want to flip them as well. So, this is what they look like all cooked. The entire process takes about 20 minutes of active non-caffeinated work. So this would probably take a bit less time if I actually had coffee beforehand. And the 15 minutes, of course, that you're not touching the batter at all. So figure about half an hour. It's good for a nice lazy Saturday or Sunday morning breakfast. Can be served with anything normal pancakes are going to be served with. Now, if you guys will excuse me, I'm going to throw some maple syrup on these and have breakfast. I'll see you guys next time.